Ladies and gentlemen, the coming of Rigathi Gachagua will be a supremacy battle. We all agree. And I've done an extensive video on that. But I also have to remind you that there's a bigger test that is coming for Rigathi Gachagua after he has arrived here in the country. And that bigger test is on the by-elections that are coming in the next few months.
Today, we convened a meeting of aspirants who are going to participate in the forthcoming by-election. As you all know, we have at least 22 by-elections. And DCP party has attracted very many aspirants.
Why is this a battle? That is what I want to look at here on this particular video. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, kindly make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who want to support the channel, my number is always here. Feel free to call me, share with me any political matter, and most importantly, you can also support the channel because that is the best number. Let me dive into this topic here today without much wasting of time. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua is coming home, but he knows the political terrain of Kenya is rugged. He is very much aware there is nothing that is entitled to, and that he has to grab everything as soon as he can. Already he is assumed to be the leader of Mount Kenya, though he has recognized Uhuru Kenyatta as also their leader. Rigathi Gachagua knows very well the chance or the opportunity of leading Mount Kenya can go anytime. So he has to ensure that he's politically smart right from the beginning all the way to the end of 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, how are the by-elections going to be a bigger test for Rigathi Gachagua? Now, we have by-elections across the country. DCP has fronted at least 3 big ones for Embu, for Malava, and for Banisa. I hope Rigathi Gachagua would drop that one for maybe Malava, so that opposition can demonstrate unity by supporting one candidate, especially from the party that comes from that region. And then, but this one from Banisa and the one for Embu are going to be big tests for Rigathi Gachagua. I am not so sure on the people of Northern Kenya how they reason out when it comes to voting. But I feel that if there's a seat Rigathi Gachagua needs to win, it is that one of Banisa and probably that one of Embu. But now the Embu one is the most important seat. The most important seat in the sense that there are key things that will be able to cement if he wins that seat. Now, let's not forget that the control of Mount Kenya requires Rigathi Gachagua to also win various seats. And in the by-election, it will be an indicator of the strength of Rigathi Gachagua. So if he wins the seat of Embu, automatically Kithure Kindiki will be gone completely from the political limelight. His legitimacy in Mount Kenya will be dead. If Rigathi Gachagua wins, he is confirmed to be the official kingpin of Mount Kenya. If Rigathi Gachagua wins, is the one directing the people of Mount Kenya in 2027. If Gachagua wins, William Ruto has nobody to help him in the Mount Kenya region. So therefore, he has to win that seat. Ladies and gentlemen, the bargaining power of Rigathi Gachagua in the opposition is based on the numbers of Mount Kenya. And he has stated it categorically that towards the end of 2026, they will come to the table, everyone to bring his own votes. They will see who has more, who has less, and then they agree. Simple and clear. But I've also questioned that kind of a method, because how will you know these are your votes without someone voting for you? But now the by-election that will happen, the method Rigathi Gachagua will use will matter a lot, Because you shall have communicated to the opposition. He's in charge of Mount Kenya, the 5.2 million votes. The people of Mount Kenya listen to him. So going to the table, he'll be the king, smiling. If he will not be at the ballot, he will decide who to support, who to win. Ladies and gentlemen, now there are two scenarios that will come out of these by-elections. A win or a loss. How will this impact? If Rigathi Gachagua loses the seat, there are three statements that will be made from there. Number one, money has power in the Kenyan politics. Because popularity, William Ruto does not have in Mount Kenya. So if he wins, it's because of money. And if money will win, then William Ruto might win the elections then. Money will be used seriously in 2027. That one we all know. That one we all know. Another thing that will come out in case Rigathi Gachagua is beaten in Embu is this. Kindiki will assume the leadership of Mount Kenya to some extent. Not fully, to some extent. He will brag around. He will tell people how he has beaten Rigathi Gachagua. How he is in charge of Mount Kenya. East, more especially. If not just even bragging, Kindiki will create a perception that is not an easy person to deal with. Because I'm very sure he is tasked to deliver that seat. Another thing that will come out from that by-election if Rigathi Gachagua is beaten is that Mount Kenya is penetratable by President William Ruto. In that he can still get some voice in 2027. You can't rule out the entire Mount Kenya out of support to President William Ruto if that win is won by that seat is won by the UDA person. You cannot. Another thing that will come out if Rigathi Gachagua loses the seat is that William Ruto can be able to penetrate to Mount Kenya again in 2027. Because if a UDA person is elected, what does that mean in relation to William Ruto in 2027? He can still get members of parliament from that particular region. And I'm telling you, it's unlikely someone to vote for an MP for William Ruto, and then at the presidency, he votes someone else. Very unlikely. Now, in a scenario where Rigathi Gachagua wins the seat, he will assume the official kingpin position of the Mount Kenya region. Uhuru Kenyatta and Kindiki combined home. Very simple. Number two, to be a clear indication that despite William Ruto having money, he will not win in 2027. Because the information that Rigathi has won will spread across the country like fire. And people will know that now William Ruto will lose in 2027. Because if you can't win a member of parliament seat, where there's no other election but only concentrating on that, how are you going to win the general election? Clear indication that William Ruto will face it rough in 2027. So Rigathi Gachagua takes over and also clears the idea that money will not be the reason as to why people will win in 2027. Another thing is that if Rigathi Gachagua wins that seat, then orator skills in Kenya are key in winning an election. Very key. So therefore, Rigathi Gachagua must be aware that if he wins, the orator skills will sell a lot. Lastly, is the political smartness. If he wins that seat, then Rigathi Gachagua will be among the most brilliant political leaders we have in the country. I don't know what is your take, my viewers, but in the comment section, feel free to share with me on what you think as far as the by-elections and the bigger test for Rigathi Gachagua is concerned. See you next time for more videos.